All right, welcome to the Blurry Dude Show, the most watched online television show for people with no internet. And today we're going to be discussing comic book-based TV shows. I'm very careful about the way I put that because you can't. Can you just call it a comic book TV show? Is that okay? We have to ask. Mongo is
on the comic.
This is Mongo's show. I'm probably just going to kick back, maybe play some Angry Birds or something. No, that's
right.
That's so 2016.
2016. That was like 2011.
I still have a Facebook, I still have a Facebook page. I still have a MySpace page. That joke wasn't even worth doing. Nobody believes me. They're like, does that even? I don't even know. Is MySpace even still like online? Why am I asking you? You don't even have a Facebook. Anyway, so Silent Observer is, of course, still in the studio, but he won't come out of the bus. So is it safe to call them comic book TV shows? Whisper.
We'll allow it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So comic book TV shows, and basically what we want to touch on here is, well, number one, because I have you here, and you are this vast tome of comic knowledge, but I just want to I want to see, like, how canon are they, and before we get to Mini Dude's got skills on this one, to pay the bills. That's right. But
Even though I got no bills to pay.
Keep talking.
Just wait.
Keep talking. By the way, that rental agreement it's ready for you. It's ready for you. I actually do want to go over some of the older stuff that maybe somebody like myself has actually watched, because I've only seen bits and pieces. So real quick, we'll go over, like, just kind of what's out there right now. Then we'll go over which ones are disgusting and which ones aren't. But like I said, I do want to talk about, like, the old Amazing Spider-Man, which I hate, because, well, I mean,
Not so amazing.
no, it's Spider-Man. Okay.
What's so wrong with Spider-Man?
They killed Uncle Ben. I'm sorry. He's just so.
So it's like Skywalker reincarnated.
In the 7th season of the Blurry Dude Show,
Spider.
I expressed my feelings about Spider-Man. The only thing that ever came out of the Spider-Man franchise was, in fact, the theme song for the cartoon show. Other than that, nothing's worth it. He's emo. Now, a lot of people are like, but Batman's emo. Batman is goth. Okay? Batman is total pain, suffering, darkness. Okay? He's painting his fingernails black. He's putting on black lipstick. He's listening to Lamb of God. He is not... He's not emo. He's goth. Now, Spider-Man, on the other hand, is not only emo, but he's just so
puny.
Well, I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me so much.
Are we talking about the
He is a
character?
teenager.
Well, yeah.
Are we talking about the character itself?
I'm talking
Yes.
about its entire existence.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Because it is just Spider-Man. He's got all of this pseudo-tragic that happens, okay? Like, first off, dude, they're going after your girlfriends, all right? You should have known the moment you went and bought the stupid form-fitting mask and everything, or however that. How did he acquire?
He acquired to make the suit.
Yeah, because okay, Bruce Wayne, lots of money, military technology in Wayne Enterprises, so on and so forth. Totally get it. I think even Superman, they show at one point, I don't know if it was in the comic or not, but at one point they actually show the costume being made.
Or like
Who the hell made Spider-Man's costume?
Yeah, I was about to say, or like in
But
the
in the
TV
movie, he
shows,
does, doesn't he?
In the movie, yeah, with
You realize I'm gathering all my thoughts.
Yeah.
right. Okay, well, let's just
My
For
defense
my-
of Spider-Man
for my
is that he's a teenager. That's my defense. Teenagers are just
but
wrong.
okay, so I hate Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man's emo and pointless, and
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't even, to me, even the campy villains like Rhino, just didn't come off the way that like Batman's campy villains
Or
did.
Sandman.
You know, well, Sandman was okay. Like, that's one of the ones I didn't mind so much. And of course, I actually Doc Ock, and the Doppelganger, loved the Doppelganger. And I will say this much: 2 of my all-time favorite villains did come from the Spider-Man universe, both related. One, people have a problem with me liking because of the other one, and that's Venom and Carnage.
Everybody loves Venom. And
Okay.
Carnage.
Venom is... I hate Eddie Brock, but I love Venom.
Okay.
And Carnage just...
Which one's Carnage?
Carnage is what happens if the
He's the,
Joker gets
pretty much the
Venom's
red
symbiote, okay?
Oh.
Like, to me.
Wasn't
But-
he even more powerful than Venom?
He was more of a insane mass murderer.
Yes. Yes. Not only was the symbiote a problem, but the host was a problem.
The host was a more problem than the symbiote.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The
Which
host
made
was
it
just like, I'm along for the ride.
right. Which I have a respect for that, but Spider-Man himself just no. Don't like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's a wimp.
Yeah.
Do you like Superman more or less than Spider-Man? See, I can take Spider-Man more than I can Superman. I'm not
I agree with that because I've just never really liked
So-
Superman.
Yeah, I
I don't know
haven't either.
why.
I
but
can understand
just-
that. And for non-comic book reasons, I will choose Superman, and I will explain. Christopher Reeves.
Yeah, it's
That's it, honestly. And because... But see, I take that back. The reason I like Superman more than Spider-Man is my all-time 2 favorite villains, equally, as a matter of fact, are Magneto and Lex Luthor. And one of the reasons why I love Lex Luthor is because you have this weird kind of thing going on where you have Superman, who is a superhuman alien, getting his ass kicked by a rich guy.
Yeah.
Okay? That's all he is, folks. Lex Luthor, rich guy. Here he is.
Actually, Luthor was more than what his money was. He was very smart and
Well, no, I absolutely, I will give you that. That's the thing. And he had such a drive.
It's almost like Putin.
You know?
Yeah, because even if
Rule number 2.
Sorry.
really you called it rule number 2.
Sorry,
Was I wrong?
In this case, no, you weren't wrong.
Okay, all right. I'm just making sure. But here's the deal. I don't know if you know this or not, but the Forbes Fantasy 15 followed all of these.
I do remember you sending me that.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. Okay, and Lex Luthor was actually pretty close to being at the top of that list until he blew his entire fortune trying to take over the world. Now that's a man whose resolve I can get behind. He's motivated. He's going places. He's bald. All right.
Of course, he probably had to give that all up when he became president.
Right. That's the other thing. He's been president. How many Spider-Man villains have been out of their city, let alone president? And alien symbiotes don't count unless they went out of the city while they were connected to their host. All right. Here's the problem. All of Spider-Man's villains are a local problem. All right. Batman, you could even say the same for Batman until you get into like Ra's al Ghul, because let's face it, he's a problem from a pretty far distance. You know what I mean? But was it Liam Neeson?
No.
Not interested.
No, you really
Look,
need to
let's
watch
face it,
Arrow.
okay?
He has his
Liam
heroes.
Neeson is a
Yeah.
Jedi master. He taught Batman. I mean, the dude's just epic.
Yeah.
That's just, he's Liam Neeson.
Okay, I don't blame you.
But I guess the same could be said for Batman. At the end of the day, Superman has the better villain to me, just because I love Lex Luthor. He's so fantastic and just over the top with everything. And it's almost like somebody pit a Bond villain against a superhero, and the Bond villain totally held his own. Totally held his own. Love
okay,
that.
aren't we having a separate show on comics? I thought this was the
Okay,
TV
all right. No, that's
series.
fair. Okay, that's fair. I just wanted to get the Spider-Man thing
No,
out of
I
the way
wanted him
because
to get that out.
Mongo, it's your turn.
Yeah, before I dash all his beliefs.
I think he has the better evil laugh here.
Probably. Yeah, he might. Yeah. Can you mwaha? All right, yeah, you got it.
You gotta
God, you could totally do that on a comic book. Like, that'd be great. But and the other thing
All
is,
we need is a rolling chair and then a cat. Just
no, Mr. Bond, I expect you
You
to
actually
not.
have to see one of my shorts. I actually do that.
Excellent.
Sunset
I
Fist
need to
2,
see
Fist
that.
harder.
I just wanted to get out of the. Oh God, no. We're not talking about math. Anyway, that's an inside thing, but it's still probably funny anyway. I wanted to get my hatred for Spider-Man out of the way, but that was actually leading up to. We're going to talk about TV shows and cartoons, okay? Because I think that I can bring to the table X-Men, The Amazing Spider-Man, Batman, hands down. I'm sorry, if you can correct me, go ahead. But I personally believe the '90s Batman cartoons were the best comic book cartoons ever.
Silent Observer agrees
Ever.
with you.
Yes, he
he
does.
does.
I can tell because he's waving a poodle. Anyway, I do believe that and Mark Hamill totally made up for being a whiny teenager
Was the
by
Joker.
being the Joker. And several other voices.
Oh, several other
actually.
voices, too.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal voice actor.
I do have one question. I haven't even seen the new Spider-Man. Who's I guess second to new one because the Homecoming came out. Who's the villain in the second to newest one? I haven't
Vulture. Played by Michael Keaton.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Electra. Yeah.
That's why I keep telling you have to watch it. It's great, and he's fantastic as the Vulture.
Yeah.
Silent Observer agrees with me.
First off, first off, I'm having trouble processing Fantastic and Vulture in the same context. Secondly, Spider-Man, man.
Dude.
Although I gotta watch it before Justice
All right,
League.
let me-
Movies. Wait a minute. No movies. That's another episode. We will be doing
Okay.
another
Okay,
episode
okay.
for movies.
That's fine.
All right.
Then we need
Suffice
to
it
quit
to say,
Spider-Man.
Ben Affleck should never have been Batman. That's all. I'm trying to hold it back.
That's it.
Trying to hold it back.
So you want us to do our thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, hold
Yes,
on.
I do.
I want to put in some input. Have you seen any of the original? Like, I shouldn't say original, but have you seen any of the like?
How old do you think I am?
Well,
Thanks.
there aren't really original comic book. Well, I guess that's not true because Superman had serials like way the hell back, and they were bad. But
Cereal.
Yeah.
The food.
no, yeah. See, that's
That was the thing.
right. Now I feel old.
Good.
The jeez, hell, man.
Oh, it's just because you said. What's your question?
You're the middle.
How many
I
of
get
the
the-
old what have
What the
I
hell's
seen?
the banner anyway? Have you seen any of the older like X-Men or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you mean the cartoons?
Yeah.
No.
Oh. Okay. Never mind.
Sorry.
Okay.
No, I
There's
didn't
a
watch.
question.
No, I was a Bugs Bunny person.
So I should have been. I
Looney
should have
Tunes.
been. Let me get this out of the way, and I'm just going to hand it over to you, honestly. And I mean, I'll interject, of course, because
You're the blurry, didn't
Well,
Boy,
us. You're gonna hand it over to us.
well,
Yes.
I just meant like passing the baton to you. You start, and then you guys can just kind of do your thing. The I loved as a child. Might not watch it again because Centurion Syndrome, but. And if you don't get that reference, watch previous episodes.
Yeah.
But the
And I agree with you.
yeah, right. Yeah, it's a syndrome. It's a syndrome. But the X-Men cartoon from the 90s? 90s?
Yes, the
yeah,
90s
the X-Men
X-Men.
cartoon from the 90s, as I understand it, as I learned later on, was wildly inaccurate as far as canon. But I loved it as a kid. And
As hokey as it was.
as hokey as it was, I did. I loved it. Did not like Amazing Spider-Man, except for the theme song. It's like I'll listen to the theme song and then shut it off.
no, which
Okay. That's
Then I'll
pretty
watch
good.
Smurfs.
so which you're talking about are you talking about the Amazing Spider-Man the 80s version where it was with Firestar and Iceman?
Yeah,
Okay, that's the one he's talking about.
I didn't know there was another one.
Yeah, there's quite a few actually.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
It's Spider-Man.
there's-
Okay, won't get into it. Okay, so that's my 2 cents. in this conversation because I admit I've only seen bits and pieces of the shows I think you're going to talk about.
Okay.
So I don't have a whole lot of weight here, and I'm admitting that now. But at the end of the day, the 90s Batman cartoon wins. Go ahead.
And with that,
Yeah, with that. All right.
You can go ahead, man.
Are you sure? Yes, I was going to start off because, all right.
No, if you guys have a plan in motion,
Well,
it'll be the first time in
we
Blurry
really
News
don't have a
history, so
plan
go
going
for
on.
it.
yeah, but I think I know where to go with this.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
so let's start with the CW because they're the ones who are doing a fantastic job with their superhero shows.
But for those of you who don't know, the CW used to be WB.
Yes.
Okay.
And Upin.
And what now?
Upin. UPN and UPN.
Oh, right, yeah, yeah, I'm like,
It was like
what the fuck is
Upin. And yes, I am showing my age. So, all right.
No, it was UPN.
All right.
But go ahead, yeah.
All right, so
yeah, you're
let's
showing
start
your
with
age.
the one they started out with Arrow.
Yeah.
So as far as Arrow's concerned, of course, everybody knows Arrow is basically a vigilante in Star City.
Yes. Star City.
Vigilante in Star City, Oliver Queen. He was trapped on an island, came back years later
Flew
with all these abilities, and according to the TV version, he has a list to find people is because they have filled this city.
Because of his father. Yes.
Wait, now,
They
where does
failed this city because of the things that they've done throughout it. And the reason why that came along was because when he got stranded on the island, his dad gave him a booklet and said, well, didn't say find these people, but he said change the city pretty
Spoilers, by the way. There's probably going to be spoilers along the line here.
It's in what? It's 6th season? There's no
much.
spoilers.
Well, yeah, there's...
5th or 6th season.
I'm not going to tell you the ending
I
to
haven't
it.
watched it yet, but I mean, I
watched
have
the
to
first
watch
season.
this.
All right, so
It's...
So
Yeah.
so far it's been productively good. I mean, it's had its hit and miss out of any shows as far as its episodes. It's brought in more characters from DC, like
Yeah.
let me see, Watchdog. Watchdog. It's brought in Ragman. It's brought in like different canaries,
Yeah. A lot of...
black canaries.
Yeah.
And
Black Canary, they actually came up with that one.
yeah,
didn't they?
and White Canary is new, but
Yeah, White Canary,
is
yeah.
on DC Legends.
Yeah. Which,
So
yeah,
it's
she's...
an entirely different show that we'll talk about in a few minutes.
Yes.
So basically, Mr. Terrific, one of my favorite ones. Growing up, they modernized him, and I mean, even some of the villains that they've had, like Count Vertigo.
Yeah.
So is this like, how canon is it?
yeah, this was my question.
Okay. Canon.
As far
I'm
as
not
like
sure
the
of term.
original comics?
They've kind of basically went in their own direction, I believe.
Okay. What about, all right, now there's two topics to canon that I'm going to ask you about with each show.
Okay.
And that's not just the story as it is, but also the origin story.
All right.
Is the origin story canon?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Silent Zerva. It's a bit tweaked.
Okay. Well, and that's
It's a
fine.
bit tweaked.
Yeah, okay.
So
Which
it's not too
everything's
far
gonna
off.
be tweaked.
Yeah, because I mean,
little
that
bit.
happens to every incarnation of Batman.
Exactly.
Right.
Everything's going to be tweaked a little
His
bit.
parents are dead, but the who and the how, the why,
Changes.
the when's usually the same-ish.
But it's kind of like a soap opera-ish.
Yeah, a little bit of a soap opera.
There's a lot of drama
Because
in there.
because it has to... He's a...
It's okay. We've all read or watched full-length
he's-
movies of the X-Men.
Well, it also... In the TV show, it goes through him being a vigilante, and it also deals with the drama going on in his life and going in between the two.
Well, sure, yeah. You've got to you have to have the what's going on with the guy behind the mask thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it still has to deal with the drama in his life, so it still is a little bit
Is
of
it good drama though, or is it like?
It almost has to deal with both of them. Like, the drama in his actual life is because of him being a vigilante sometimes.
And
Right.
his,
Well, that
and his
makes
past
sense.
catches
Yes,
up with him.
and his past catches up with him, and he knows it, but other people don't know it.
Right. And then,
So it's pretty
Which
typical.
that and-
Yeah.
and it goes back and forth into like what happened on the island, like
Yeah.
basically his training
And
and,
it
like
pretty-
how he
yeah,
Okay,
became.
so I do
Exactly.
have a question, and I don't know
And
if this is a
everything
spoiler or
usually
not.
comes
How
back
did
to
he
them.
end up on the island? I never
He
got
got
that.
in a shipwreck
Yeah.
with his dad.
Oh, okay. All right.
And actually, that actually has to deal with White Canary that we were just talking about. She was on the ship.
Oh.
And that's actually one of... Long deal with that, but pretty much she was on the ship too, but she got shipwrecked and he thought she died. Everybody thought she died, but she just came back to life later on in the
In
show.
comic book fashion,
Yeah.
everybody comes back to
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's not just comic book.
I'm not.
That's just
Well,
drama
it's-
series,
it's-
period.
yeah.
I was gonna say it's soap operas too. You know, Reverend, I thought you were dead. No, and I'm having your baby.
More Blacklist.
But
Oh my god, it reminds me of the episode of Soap, the movie Soap Dish.
I've never seen it.
It's with Sally Fields and Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah,
and one of the seasons, like they ended up bringing, they had to bring her dead husband back to life. She goes, we can't bring him back to life. We decapitated him. How do we?
It's almost as bad as Once Upon a Time, which I can understand that because they have magic and stuff, but still, Once Upon a Time they
little too much.
decapitated that
No.
Mad Hatter.
Okay, so, obviously you guys know. I mean, you know the whole show. You've seen the whole show. You've seen all the seasons.
Yeah,
of
Yes.
every
Arrow?
episode.
Well, Keen's watching it on Netflix, so it's.
I don't.
season
Is there a
behind.
is there a new season that came out?
What was
Because
the last episode that have you seen?
I've seen all of them on Netflix.
Well, yeah, what was the last episode that you saw on Arrow?
I don't want to ruin it.
Oh no, that's okay. It's
I
all
don't
right.
want
that's
to
fine.
spoiler.
Spoilers.
We gave the spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
yeah,
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 spoiler.
go ahead.
When
1,
his whole
2,
everybody
3.
else dies on the island. When the whole island.
Oh, when the
blows up.
so you are it's on the new season now.
Okay, I didn't
So,
know if there
yeah.
was a new season
There
or
is a
not.
new season.
That's
Okay.
So
Alright.
I'm behind one.
yeah.
So,
I am
question.
behind one season.
Are you going to watch the new season?
Yes, when it comes out on Netflix.
Okay, so both of you. So it's
He has
not
to
a
make a
Netflix.
binge. He has to
No,
binge.
it's
Yeah, I binge watched it.
it's on Netflix. It's actually caught up with Netflix, but the new
But it's
season
not
just started.
produced
Yeah.
by Netflix.
No.
Okay.
No. Because I think I'm 6 episodes into the new season.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? So obviously you guys like it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we enjoy
Okay.
it. Yeah, it's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
What, why is it a guilty pleasure though?
It's a guilty. To me, it's a guilty pleasure because it's a comic book show, and there are some times where it's kind of hokey, and
Yeah.
even he will
Yeah.
agree with it.
Yeah,
Like
there's some parts.
the Merlin. Like when Merlin comes
Yeah.
out, and it's kind of hilarious because Green Arrow has this lair. So, but Merlin is in charge of the League of Assassins, and all of a sudden they always break in. It was just getting ridiculous.
Because everybody would always just look at him and be like, how
do
the
you
heck did you get in?
here?
Like, nobody knows that this is here, and you can't really get in without any of us knowing.
Yeah, he
And,
just
like,
breaks in
they
with his
just-
ninjas.
Yeah, they
It's
just
hilarious.
pop up. They're all assassins. Just poof. How the heck did you get here? Doesn't matter.
Okay. Fair enough. Would you say it's the best one that you've seen of recent?
No.
Ooh.
As far as
There's a disagreement there,
superheroes,
Yeah.
as far as no, the spin-off Flash. I
Yes,
think it's probably one of the best.
Yes, the Flash is definitely the best. Which there's some parts that I have to like.
So wait a minute.
there's some
Arrow
parts
came
in it-
first, and Flash actually spun off from it.
Yes.
Yes.
And they cross
That's
over.
pretty
Yeah,
weird.
they have crossovers
There's
too.
crossovers.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually like it because in the crossovers, they don't have it in like just one TV show. They don't show it in just one TV show. They show it in both.
Okay.
So it's not like just one TV show you're
they
watching and
play
you're
off
like,
each
this
other.
never
Whoa.
happened.
So.
The storylines follow
yes,
each
they
other.
the storylines
Okay,
follow
so
each other.
it's not like Stargate where you have to just figure out which episode of Atlantis lines up with which.
Not at all.
They actually have the episode. They include that one episode in both shows.
No.
Well, they don't. They're different,
look,
but you can.
somebody wants to talk.
I know he keeps
something.
he keeps rattling that cage. He might get
No,
out.
it's basically just like a comic
It's-
book. It's a
yeah.
it's a crossover. Like if you read one book and then you have to read the other book for the conclusion of it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
But
that's
you know
kinda
that there's a
cool.
cross, and you know that there is.
I
a
mean,
crossover.
you know that the comic book universe did
Or
that
almost like
to
the
sell more
introduction.
comic books.
So but what if
I
you
like
just
it.
watched the one show? Would you be confused?
No, if you watch the one show, you have to watch the other one. You have to
Yes.
watch.
Okay,
a
that's what I
crossover.
was wondering.
Because
You have
I
to watch the
what was I
continuation.
watching? I was watching it just a bit ago, and it like happened, and then
How do you know when to go back?
How do you know when to
Oh,
which
it's
when you
just-
start getting
They'll
confused?
tell you this. I'll tell you the part 2. Like
Yeah.
it'll be the same. It'll be
Yeah.
the same title, but I'll tell you part 1 and part 2.
Yep.
And it's
Okay.
just like all right.
But
So,
so you watch. So let's say Arrow did the part 1. Arrow did the part 1. Flash
Yes.
does the part
Part
2.
2, yes.
Then you
Yes.
can just go back to Arrow and continue watching
Yes.
after
Yes.
you've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you just
yeah, because they don't confuse. It's not like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Okay.
It's just like it'll tell you if it's one single crossover,
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
and everything will continue back into their normal.
I'm intrigued by
Yes.
this. I'm sorry. So what happened? All right. So situation. Tell me what you do here. So Arrow has a part 1,
Right.
Yes.
and then Flash has a part 2.
Yes.
And then I'm switching back over to Arrow to continue watching. 3 episodes down the line, there's another part 1. And I've got to switch over to part 2 for the Flash. Do I need to back up on Flash
See, they
and
only-
watch
That's what I
up
was
to the
wondering, too.
crossover?
Oh no! See, they only do that like
Yeah.
once, maybe
Yeah.
maybe they do it
Yeah.
like once or twice or something, like in between seasons.
Yeah, and
Oh, okay.
they only had one major crossover because they needed help. Well, I think the Flash needed help. One or the other. Either way, there was only one big crossover, but there was only one other time that the Flash actually like came to the Starling City and talked to the Arrow, and that was about it. But other than that, they only had like one or I think they had 2 major crossovers.
Yeah, because there was a point where Flash needed to
Yeah.
be trained.
Yeah, he
and
needed to be
asked,
trained when he
the
first
Green
got
Arrow to
his-
help him train.
Because he was
Got it.
friends with him, and he knew that he
The,
was
gr-
already
wait, the Green
Arrow.
Arrow, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
which actually
Well-
it was the Arrow at
it was the
first,
Arrow,
and
yeah.
then he changed it to the Green Arrow
Or
after
was
he
it the,
came
or
back.
was it the Hood?
Oh, it was the Hood at first, then the Arrow, and then the
Then
Green Arrow.
Yeah.
So did they cross over
Weird,
other
but
ones
okay.
besides
Well,
those
the reason
two?
why it was the Hood is because when he came from the island, he had a green hood with him,
Right.
and nobody knew what to call him besides
What
the
was your
Hood.
question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do they have other ones that they cross over besides
forget about
Arrow?
the
Well,
and
yeah,
Flash?
we're actually going to get
sorry.
into that
Yeah.
because they're okay for CW. There's 4 different superhero shows.
Yeah.
And CBS wanted their own show, so they decided to do Supergirl.
Oh.
And
I'll let you talk about. Yeah,
yeah,
I said
and
the same thing. I said the same thing.
And I understand that Supergirl, because even one of my friends was saying, he goes, I'm not really into Supergirl, but my daughter, I want something my daughter to get into, and she likes it, so I watch it, for her, because it's something that
Right.
Yeah.
something for
Yeah.
her to watch, for both of them to watch and
Well, it's
enjoy.
better. It's better than Elektra, so yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, 10 times.
All right.
So, but okay. So getting back, CBS wanted to do Supergirl, so they did Supergirl, and it didn't. I don't think it got the ratings. The first season, it didn't get the ratings that it wanted to. But I think they always knew. Well, CW and CBS are both pretty much the same station.
Okay.
Or the same, not the same station, but affiliated.
Right.
You know?
affiliated with each other.
Yeah, because I think CW is like the sister station or something like
Yeah.
that. So after the first season, everybody was wondering what was going to happen, and we kind of had a feeling that it was all going to go into the CW anyway.
Right.
And so that became the third superhero show for the CW.
Okay.
So at one point, the Flash and Supergirl.
Yeah, Supergirl comes into the Flash.
Yeah. No. The Flash actually comes into Supergirl.
Well, I know. So, that actually, that's another crossover thing, because if the Flash went into the Supergirl, I remember Supergirl was in the Flash too.
Yeah,
there's
well,
a couple episodes that she was in the Flash.
She came in basically into
Yeah.
their universe, because the Flash universe and the Supergirl universe in the shows, they're not together.
Right.
You actually have to cross into multi-universe.
Oh, so it's actually like
yeah.
Portal time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Which actually, the Flash can actually. He can.
I'm actually really okay with that.
Because
Yeah.
in the comic books they use the multiverse a lot. So now,
Right.
even in the Flash, which makes the Flash, I think, a better episode.
Which I actually like the Flashpoint that they came up with.
Yes.
The Flashpoint was pretty cool. He went and time traveled, but when he time traveled, he
He
made a
changed
different
everything.
dimension, pretty much.
He changed everything.
Yeah.
He changed everything because that even affected in Arrow.
Yeah.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah.
So as far as
Well, you got to give
slightly-
props to the writers on these things.
Yeah.
Oh, so, well, wait a minute. I'm only going to give them props insofar as they've seen Back to the Future. Because
I'm talking about the crossover part, keeping
oh,
all these
okay.
storylines
Well, 'cause
straight.
yeah, that's
Well,
Okay.
with the Flash episode, I think it
Yeah.
was more like, all right, so he did this, but when you do that, he goes, there's consequences.
There's always-
there's
which
always
is
a consequence for his actions.
Which
always.
Dr. Wells, you guys don't know who Dr. Wells is, but he was, when Flash got his powers, he was helping him out with his powers, pretty much. But Dr. Wells actually told him that don't tell anybody that you time traveled because it will have consequences no matter what.
Doesn't he tell the guy in the cage?
The cage.
On the island?
No, never mind.
Which
I see
well,
guy in
there
the
is a guy in
cage.
Cage. I'm trying
Yeah.
to figure out which
Yeah.
episode. It was.
in the yellow out get up.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
the
yes, that
Reverse
was
Flash.
that
Reverse
was in one of the
Flash, yeah.
seasons.
Yeah.
That was in one of the seasons. Yeah, you're correct.
Which actually Dr. Wells is the Reverse Flash, which he's not actually Dr. Wells. Long story.
You have to
You
watch
have
the
to
show.
watch it.
You have to
One-
watch it. It's harder to explain.
It's real. I could
One
explain
word.
it, but
One word for the crossing of all these timelines and how confusing it can get. Gargoyles. Okay, I'm done.
Again, done by Disney. That is the magic of Disney.
No.
So CW is your guys' favorite.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so
As
far
yeah,
as-
yeah,
yes.
by far. And
Okay, so they didn't do. See, I keep kind of basing all of my knowledge on what's on Netflix, and I kind of thought Netflix was just involved in all of it because it became this like explosive thing, and then you got like the Defenders, Iron Fist, Luke Cage.
see, that's the Marvel.
Yes.
The Marvel stuff is
Yeah,
Netflix, like Jennifer Jones,
Jessica Jones.
Oh, Jessica Jones. Thank you, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Luke Cage.
which I couldn't get into. Well, I haven't even started watching them. Which everybody tells me Jessica Jones is good.
Wait a minute. So let me back up for a second because this might be a serious moment of pride for me personally. Are you telling me that you're choosing the DC universe over the Marvel universe?
Yes.
As far as television goes,
I love you.
Me too. I've always
it's a
liked
Hallmark
DC more.
moment.
Definitely mini dude.
That was a memory. That was a memory right there.
I've always liked DC over Marvel.
As you should.
This is as far as television is concerned, DC is actually ruling it. They're kicking butt
Yes.
in it. When, like I said, with Supergirl, she's in
What did
another.
they do with the movies? I can't wait to get to that episode.
I'll let you know after I see Justice League.
Of course, wait a minute. I'm sorry because
That actually is that the one we saw
That-
the
yeah,
previews
yeah.
for? I want to see that
Yeah.
actually.
That's the only
Cringeworthy.
thing that Supergirl actually looks
cringing.
good in.
yeah,
I mean,
It
not
just-
Wonder. I'm
dude,
not Wonder
I don't
Woman
even
about
care that the
Supergirl.
power suit really existed in the comic book. Okay, I don't even care. Ben Affleck, come on. I shouldn't knock Justice League right away. I'm sure that Daredevil is awesome as Batman.
Daredevil is actually really good. I
No,
liked
I'm
it.
talking about. I was talking about Ben Affleck in the
I was
movie.
about-
But no, that's another one. Yeah.
No, have you seen Daredevil?
Yes.
It was pretty good. That's the only reason why I tried to watch the Defenders, but I just couldn't. And especially, I can't really watch it unless I watch Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and
Yeah,
Iron
they
Fist.
design it that way.
You don't need
Yeah.
to watch Iron
Exactly.
Fist.
Really? That doesn't surprise me. The first two
Burns
episodes
like,
that I
in fact,
watched,
don't.
No, yeah,
Eh.
don't do it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, actually, I was kind of wrong with even though we started with CW, I was kind of wrong because I know we're talking about what's current, but you have to give props to Smallville when they made that.
Okay, so here's the deal.
I like Smallville.
Yeah.
I didn't watch too much of it,
Smallville, this is going to be weird, and this is very counterintuitive, and I even kind of hate myself for it, but there are two shows, and that just gave it away right there, that make me tolerate Superman. And those two shows, and this is the first one, I know it's unforgivable, and I'm sorry, I don't even know why I liked it. If I went back and watched it now, I'd
Come
probably
to the
hate
dark
it.
side.
Lois and Clark. I liked Lois and Clark.
See, I like the hokiness of Lois and Clark.
That's exactly.
Yeah,
I think
love
that's
them.
why I liked it.
It was actually Lois and Clark was like the Love Boat of Superman.
And you've just ruined it for me in one sentence.
I think that's why I didn't watch it. I think I had a problem with Lois.
I had a problem with
didn't
Lois,
fit the
and
Lois
Terry
is-
Hatcher.
Yeah.
I don't like Terry Hatcher and Bug-Eyed Chick that ended up on Babylon 5. I can't stand her
How
either.
do you not like Cat? Or that's not her name. What was her name?
I don't care. But Smallville, I got to give Lex Luthor props in Smallville too.
Tracy Scroggins.
Lex Luthor is he's just an amazing villain. You'd have to try to screw up Lex Luthor. He's that awesome. But
Did it go along? Was it canon? Did it go along with the comics?
What?
Smallville?
Yeah.
It went above and beyond and below.
Well, I didn't know how
Silent Observer's like,
I didn't
kind of
know if the
around.
comics actually
They're doing
included, because I
weeds.
know he came here as a baby. I didn't know if the comics actually included him growing up. They didn't.
Flashback. Only in flashbacks.
Yeah, only,
really.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
so
they,
really
that's
it's
why I
all
said,
original.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And we're gonna but see, when you look at the Superman movies with Christopher Reeves, don't expect canon.
I've watched them.
Superman has the spinning with the
I didn't like them. I didn't like them.
That's always been the biggest joke. All right, so that's another show. But
right, yeah, we won't get into the movies right now,
All right.
but I do have to finish that thought on Marvel and DC. I personally believe have both completely phoned in the movies. But that's another episode, so let's get back to the TV shows and good call on Daredevil.
But okay, so yeah.
I have to watch it just because I actually
Daredevil
did
is it was really good.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Yeah, the second season was okay. I thought the ending kind of flopped.
You know what I want to
Yeah.
see? You know what I really honestly want to see come to TV
I didn't
show?
really like the
okay,
ending.
bring me back my dark foreboding comic. All right, I want Spawn.
Oh, jeez.
He's actually he actually announced that he was doing a Spawn movie, Tom McFarlane.
If
But
that's the case,
I
we
want
need to
to
watch
I want a
that.
You
TV
want to
show.
see? Yeah.
Oh,
I want
the
a TV show
show.
because
TV show? Oh, definitely.
here's the thing. Batman, like, I want that dark, gothic kind of
you want the grit.
gritty, yeah. I
Yeah.
want Chris Nolan's Batman
Dark as
in
coal.
Spawn.
When they did,
He does not want
NBC
happiness at
tried to
all.
do that.
He's
with,
nothing.
Spawn,
Nothingness.
wait a minute. I can explain. Okay, because Spawn, he's from hell. Okay?
He's gone through it too.
There's no happiness left.
He's a dead mercenary who basically gets recruited by Beelzebub to do his dirty work. You don't get. You know what? There's one thing I've always wanted to see, and this is actually from my youth, from reading the comic books before I understood the multiverses, before I understood the companies. I always wanted to see Spawn beat the shit out of Ghost Rider.
That would be the best fight ever.
I don't think that would happen.
You think Ghost Rider would win?
I think Ghost Rider would win.
Run over him with his motorcycle.
And
Only because he could run down his battery. If anything, that's the only reason.
Maybe.
no, because all right, so this is where my geek card's going to come in.
All right. Let's hear this. I'm ready.
Do you remember the series The World War Hulk?
No.
All right. World War Hulk is basically the Illuminati decided they were going to send Banner into space. And
Okay.
Which they did, and Hulk basically came back pissed off. So he decided to. He wanted these guys. He wanted their heads, pretty much.
Right. Yeah.
He wanted their heads, and to make a long story short, Ghost Rider was sent in to take care of the Hulk.
No.
Yeah. Yes.
No.
Ghost Rider was sent in to take in the Hulk. Now,
I refuse to believe any of this.
now the Hulk. Now the Hulk is
He
strongest.
put Ghost Rider out like a cigarette butt, right?
Actually, they
out as a-
actually proven that Ghost Rider is actually stronger than the Hulk, because actually Ghost Rider has like some kind of
Well-
mystic locks on him.
I can
that blocks
accept that.
that blocks his powers.
Right.
And because Ghost Rider is basically the spirit of vengeance.
Right.
Unless you're righteous. Unless you're righteous about what you're doing, Ghost Rider, he's going to come after you and he's going to put you in your place. So Hawk basically told him, Ghost Rider was about to defeat the Hulk, and they were about to destroy the whole city of New York for, to prove both their points. And Hawk was sitting up there, and he just basically told Ghost Rider, he was like, they destroyed this planet, they destroyed my wife, and they destroyed my kid. He goes, you tell me, these guys sent me up here, and then they wanted to blow me up. You tell me, you sit up here and you tell me that I don't deserve vengeance. And he looked into the Hulk, and Hulk did his little thing. He's like, all right, cool. And Ghost Rider left. He goes right or left. He was like, "You're absolutely right." He goes, "This is your vengeance."
So you think
So-
that there would be no ending to
Well, wait a
with
minute.
Spawn?
Wait a minute.
be
So there's a
something.
couple things, and again, I will defer to your omnipotent knowledge of the comic book universes. However, is that universes or universi? Universapod?
Multiverse.
Anyway,
Just call it multiverse.
Yeah.
of the multiverse. All right, so Ghost Rider, I'll accept that Ghost Rider is stronger than the Hulk based on his mystic origin.
Yeah.
Basically.
Because it always seems
But-
like magic always sort of wins out. Because even Superman's.
Oh yeah. Or aliens, because aliens, and I don't just mean obviously
Right.
Superman,
Oh, yeah, 'cause
but there have been other aliens
they're
that have
strong
smacked the
else.
shit out of them.
Look at Darkseid.
Right? Yeah, but Spawn is Spawn. Okay.
Really, that's your argument?
No, wait a minute.
It's
No,
just the
no,
arguments,
no.
that's it.
That's not the argument. I'll explain the argument. If I said he was John McClane, that would be the argument. But he's not, because at the end of the day, John McClane would beat the shit out of all of them. But
You're gonna make me get my list on, but let's go.
but here's the deal. To me, the only way I could see from the things I know about Spawn, Ghost Rider beating Spawn, is the fact that Spawn does have limited energy and does have to return to hell.
Yes.
Okay.
That's another. Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Beyond that, though, he beat the shit out of Malbolgia. I'm just saying, if Ghost Rider came from anywhere, he probably came from out the same neighborhood, maybe not the same house, one down the street with the same shutters, but... And in hell, Spawn's got him. Now, there's another character that I think, even though I have wicked bad feelings about this character now, because I loved him so much for him to just turn on everybody, Cagliostro. I believe Cagliostro would smack both their heads together.
That's another image. I'm not sure. I've heard the name, but I'm not exactly sure.
He's Spawn's mentor, basically, until you find out that the whole time he's been playing the double agent to slip Malbolgia off his throne and take over, and that was when I was like, no.
Oh, okay. So basically, he was.
So pretty much he was
the old
using
man.
Spawn almost.
He was using everybody. Like he was.
So
total,
he was when
total-
everybody was playing checkers, he was sitting here playing chess.
Yeah, he Putined it. He totally Putined it.
All right.
But rule number 2, I broke it. I get it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, Cagliostro. I mean, the name should have given it away that he was KGB, but no. we're not culturally ignorant at all.
But
Vladimir Cagliostro.
all right. So getting back to finish this.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no
I
problem. But
ripped
getting
you
back to
guys
finish this off, all right. So Arrow's been good. Flash has been good. Since Supergirl moved to the CW, she's been doing well. It's not one of the stronger ones, but like I said, it's a bit of a fun watch.
Okay.
So
here,
do you think
wait.
she's succeeding now because of the crossovers?
I think she's succeeding now because her series is a little different from the other two. Because as Arrow deals with the vigilantes, Flash deals with metahumans, and Supergirl deals with aliens.
Now, I have to interject and say I think the only reason that Supergirl is doing well at all is it's not the movie.
That would be correct.
Yeah, okay. All right. As long as we're clear on that.
And also, Arrow doesn't.
She's on a
just
table.
Arrow doesn't face just vigilantes.
Well, other
because there is
villains.
yeah,
Yep.
because there is some what's the word? What Arrow faces?
Terrorists, basically. Every episode's like
Well, what you just said, Arrow just faces who?
Arrow faces vigilantes, and sometimes metahumans cross by.
Well, I meant Flash. My bad.
Oh,
Metahumans.
okay. Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I was trying
Well-
to say. Yeah, he sometimes faces metahumans, like
And-
Damian Dark.
Yeah, and different threats from the multiverse,
Yeah.
which seems to be collapsing all the time. so-
Yeah.
That's what the multiverse does. It falls the fuck apart.
So, but both all these shows. Oh, and before I forget, DC Legends is actually
Yeah, we do need to get into
Yeah,
that.
DC Legends
of
is
Tomorrow.
basically time travel.
It's all time travel.
Well, no,
But
well, no, their time. There was an actual name for it. I can't even think of it.
wait. So did DC just completely rip off the Doctor?
Well, considering that one of the pawns is actually the leader of the Legends.
That's so dangerous. I like it, but it's dangerous.
Yes and no, because of course, any sci-fi always had their time travel.
Yeah, of course.
So, but the ship, basically, Rip Hunter is in charge of.
Yeah, Rip Hunter.
He's in charge of the Legends, which he gathers this group of individuals with special abilities
Which actually
to help
come
him.
from Arrow and the Flash, and
Okay.
actually both of those.
Yeah, because they've used Firestorm.
So it's a mixture of stuff.
Yeah.
White Canaries. They even used villains.
Which White Canary? And they even used villains in it.
Yeah, because he needs certain kind of access.
There's just certain things that he needs, and only certain people had them.
Yeah, and he's more of a con artist than anything else.
Yeah.
So he's Captain Jack.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
Samurai
he's Captain.
Jack.
Yeah, he's Captain Jack, basically.
Yep.
And I will agree with that to that point. And the ship is called the Wave Rider, which I love because in this series, there's a series where there's a character in DC is called the Wave Rider, and he's a time traveler. So to make it into a ship, well, to give it the namesake of the ship, I'm okay with it. You know,
Okay.
and because there is some history to it, look it up.
Now, if I remember correctly, and this is just a side curiosity and get right back to your thing. You are a Whovian, though, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I was just checking. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a Whovian. So
you're not offended by it, so okay.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah.
Because it's not the same thing.
Okay. Right.
It's totally not the same thing.
Right. No sonic screwdrivers.
No sonic
No
screwdrivers.
Daleks.
No. But it's to me it's a bit hokey at times, but it's pure.
Which
it's
I
pure
have,
sci-fi.
I have to agree with that. It is hokey at sometimes because even you pointed it out when I was watching it. There's some historical events when they go back in time that aren't specifically. Yeah.
I know what show you're talking about now.
Yes.
I'm out. Look at the time.
So what you're actually talking about is what I like to call Watchmen in Time, because that's what it felt like to me as far as the team.
Well,
It felt
there
like
was-
the Watchmen.
There was some episodes that the historical events weren't right. Well, they were, but weren't. Like there was just like small things that they changed. But
You know what?
But if you're time traveling and in a multiverse, does
And
it matter?
No. And at the end of the day, well, yeah, because I had called out the Albert Einstein thing.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, I'll let it go. I'll let it go. If the show's worth watching, I'll let it go.
But one of my
Which it
favorite, but one of my favorite things I loved about Legends, they used one of my favorite villains, Vandal Savage,
Okay.
who has been an immortal since he was a caveman.
yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Bam Bam.
It's intense.
Yeah, because basically his whole origin is that the meteor landed, but it gave him immortality.
And he actually follows these two people around and just kills them, and then finds them again and kills them again.
Yeah.
That's all he
Oh,
does.
Hawkman and Hawkwoman, because
Yeah.
their whole situation is just tragic.
Yeah.
You know, because
So they're basically locked in a loop.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
locked in the loop.
That's exactly what it
every
is.
time they get killed, they get reincarnated, and it's
Reincarnated, and then
always ends in tragedy.
And the thing is about the whole reincarnation, she never remembers. Each time she doesn't remember. He has to get her to remember.
Okay.
so the first season was okay. The second
Yeah.
season,
Yeah, it was a little iffy.
Yeah.
Well, if
There's
it's a
some
repeat,
things.
you'd always know what was going to happen every time.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point?
So,
Yeah.
but they also changed. They've been changing heroes pretty much every season.
Okay.
So they're just at least to try to keep it fresh. So far, I'm with it. But
My favorite episode probably was the Al Capone episode. When they went back and saw Al
right.
Capone. It was pretty funny.
Okay.
Because they had...
I'll have to give it a chance.
And
I
especially
mean,
they brought in things that were just like small events, because the dock that Al Capone used to drown people at, they actually brought that into the episode because they were going to drown one of the teammates off that dock. And
well, the thing is, like, at the end of the day, so this has been kind of the last few episodes have been, I admitted that at the end of the day I like Ewoks, and we have to forgive Jar Jar Binks because of Ewoks, and I have to forgive the hokey historical events because, let's face it, we liked Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. All right, shut up, Vern. No, but so yeah, I got to give it to him, and there have been others. I mean, time travel is either. Here's the deal: time travel. There are many things about shows that either make or break. Yeah. Time travel's not that. Time travel is either it breaks the show or it's tolerable.
Exactly.
That's about it. Because if you look at shows like Gargoyles, not that I'm bitter, time travel destroyed that show. Utterly.
It really did.
90s X-Men. Yeah. That's the thing that killed 90s X-Men for me, was the time travel stuff.
What I actually like about the time travel in this TV show is that they have a historian with them.
Right.
So the historian can help them out with things that he knows exactly what happened in the past.
Right.
So he already knows what's going to happen, this, that, and the other.
I do have to say one thing, only because I just thought of this, as far as the whole 90s X-Men thing. Mm-hmm. One thing that I greatly appreciated about the way they didn't do things right is how incredibly worse Apocalypse was in the comic book. Yes. I was not prepared for the level of holy shit, this guy is really terrible.
Oh yeah, Apocalypse, yeah.
Because in the TV show, it's like, damn you X-Men. It was almost like I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you mutants.
Actually, I have something else for you about that, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And then you get into the comic book and you're like, oh my god, he's swallowing worlds. Yeah. A little different.
Well, TV is different from what you're actually, because things have to be approved by the
unless it's 90s Batman. That's why I loved it.
And we'll get into
because they got into some dark shit.
I will agree with you that the Batman series is probably it's definitely one of the best animated series out there.
I think because it number one, the style was just unique enough without being too artsy. Because I don't know if you remember me talking about Tron Legends.
I remember.
I liked that cartoon. I actually liked that cartoon.
I wasn't a fan,
but
we can tell.
We've already determined that your opinion is like maybe 2-3 degrees higher than that guy's. But
wow.
No, I'm kidding. I have to give, honestly, if Mongo gives due credit to something, that's worth rethinking.
Well, no, we've already discussed this, and It's like there are things that you like that I don't, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And it's because of our perception, and we explain our perception. It's basically how we see it. Right. Like I can't remember what we were talking about something. And I remember a conversation a while back, and we were talking about something, and I know, good story.
And he said this thing, and I just fell out, man. You had to have been there. But
it was, we were talking about the Orville, and we were talking about a particular episode.
Oh, right, yeah.
And you saw it in one way, and I saw it in another.
Very true. That is very true. Yeah. So, and that's, I mean, at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that Spider-Man sucks, but
and the Batman's awesome. So
yeah,
and that's all that matters.
Yep.
At the end, well, awesome. Here, okay. So, and let me explain for those of you who don't understand, because I realize that I'm talking to an audience that might be completely new to at least some of this. One of the reasons why I prefer Batman over Superman is because Superman does not need to be brave; he's invincible. If you are invincible, you do not have to be brave.
If you are bulletproof, there's no point in being scared.
Right. Okay. If you are Batman, you're going to get shot and it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
Okay. Bulletproof outfit or not,
and all
you're
together,
getting bruised.
We already have a movie. Batman wins.
We're not going to go there.
But like you said, Batman is definitely one of the most superior animated series out of there.
You keep saying one of, so I'm curious what your other one is.
Justice League.
Okay, no, I'll give you that.
Say Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
The cartoon.
Yeah,
was the Wonder Power Twins?
No,
God,
not the Super Friends.
You.
Not the Super Friends.
Thank you. Oh, that was horrible.
DC, as far as their animated series, is top notch.
Mhm.
It's top. It is way better what Marvel has now.
Yeah.
Way better. And I say that because DC pays a lot of tributes to the books.
Right.
Unlike Marvel, because Marvel is Disney, and Disney is trying to sell Marvel, and
don't care about canon.
and everything
We heard
is
that before.
Everything is cinematic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything is cinematic. So it's like, okay, let's make this cartoon based on the movie. And I'm just like, you shouldn't do that.
No.
It should be totally different things. Like the Avengers. They had a great Avengers cartoon, and it was based off the books. They once Disney bought Marvel, they changed all that. They made the Avengers based off the movie.
Mhm.
So that's why you get all these the Hulk movie, the Spider-Man movies based off this. Well, no, actually, the new Spider-Man TV series is, I don't know what they're doing with that. I don't even know where that's going.
Right.
I don't think it's going anywhere.
So, but even though I enjoyed Spider-Man, the Homecoming one,
I haven't seen it.
and it's great, and I think you would like it because you already said that you love the villains. And
I like a few of them.
Michael Keaton.
Vulture's never been one of my favorites.
He's not one of your favorite, but Keaton is one of your favorites, and he does it justice.
Okay.
He does take justice. Just watch it for that. One of the reasons why, and I know I'm breaking off from what we were talking about, but
That's okay. We're out of time. We're way over, but that's okay. Go ahead.
So, but one of the things that I love about Spider-Man: Homecoming is like you, I love the villains. Like Michael Keaton did a great job, but they introduce a lot of other villains, like the Shocker. They introduced Scorpion.
Shocker's all right.
It ties in.
Scorpion's up there with Rhino.
It actually ties in, and it actually ties into what from I think the first Avenger movie. And when you see the first 10 or 15 minutes of Spider-Man: Homecoming, I think you'll like it because I think you'll let's see, what's the best way to describe it? You kind of feel for the character. And I don't want to say anything. I'll tell you later off air.
I get it. Uncle Ben died. Nice.
Yeah,
But
just
Here's the thing. All right,
there is no Uncle Ben in this one.
I'm all right with that.
So.
All right with that.
Okay.
Aunt May doesn't hook up with Doc Ock, but never mind. That was
Aunt May is Marissa Tomei.
I don't know what that is.
What? My cousin Vinny? Come on!
Yeah, you don't
Oh,
know
okay.
Marissa.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I immediately know about tire tracks. But
it kind of.
if you don't get that reference, go watch My Cousin Vinny. Totally worth it.
No, it kind of cracks me up that you said that the only 3 people that you said sucks were all animals. Spider-Man, insect, Rhino, Scorpion.
Well, here's the thing. Like, and there's actually a hokey. I can't believe it. There's 2 things. Other than the villains that I mentioned, there are 2 things that I'll give credit to Spider-Man for. One of them I love. The other one I just kind of put up with. I will admit that I did watch The Amazing Spider-Man as a child, and I liked, of all the people, Mysterio.
Yeah, I like that character. I like
Just
the
because
villain.
I thought that because his whole power was just illusions. And it wasn't even magic or anything.
Yeah.
It was like full on technology, and he totally worked it. I have an appreciation for that.
I would kind of like to see him. I like to see him for them to bring him to life.
Yeah, but they're going to give him powers or something because they're not going to do the cubes.
Well,
I like the cubes.
Well, Marvel's been doing like a next generation kind of thing, so it has changed. It has varied throughout the comic books. Like
Now, the only thing to come out of Spider-Man's existence that I will not only accept but even pay money for, I will admit, with video games. There were some
Good
really
video games.
awesome Spider-Man video games.
Very true.
But, I'm from NES or from SNES on. But anyway.
But before you end this,
Go ahead. Yep,
I
go ahead.
All right. So All right, so the CW stuff has been great. I know we talked a lot about that, but there are some other shows on there, and I'm just going to do a quick nod out to them.
Go ahead.
NBC tried to do Constantine, but they got canceled, but it was really a good series.
I would like to see that.
Did they go back to the original Constantine from the comic? Well, okay, wait a minute. There's been 3. But, no, I know a lot about Constantine. Okay, because I've seen all of his appearances and everything else and how he changed and evolved.
I think you would enjoy it because he was a gritty character.
Okay. He wasn't, but was he the blonde prick version?
Yes. He was absolutely, he was an ass.
Okay, all right, yeah.
And so they canceled, but they did bring him into the CW universe. The same character, the same actor, and still fantastic.
Okay.
So they did bring him in. Let me see what else. The Gifted just started, and that's a great show.
I heard about that.
They need to pick up the pace a little bit. I'm still kind of leery of where they're going with it, but it's supposed to be based off the X-Men universe, and I'm kind of enjoying it. Gotham, I never watched.
I never watched it either.
I just can't get into the concept of how they're going about the show.
I was going to say, didn't they actually try to take some of the attention off of Batman? Like they did they followed Gordon around, didn't they, or something like that?
Yeah, it was supposed. Yeah, Gotham was supposed to be about Gordon, but it's
which I have mixed feelings about that too. Yeah,
I just can't get into it.
I think that Ben Affleck was a cancer that spread throughout the entire DC universe and ruined Batman Forever. Like not ruined Batman Forever. Batman Forever ruined Batman Forever. But anyway.
So, but I think those are basically the comic book shows that are out now.
Okay. Yeah.
So to summarize, DC kicks ass on TV, and they were doing great in the movies until Ben Affleck happened.
Yep.
Spider-Man sucks. The video games are all right.
Yeah, and there's 2 more actually. I'm sorry.
All right, I'll give Mongo some more time.
All right, sorry about this. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., really not a fan.
Oh, yeah.
I've kept up with it just to see where they're going with it. It's like one of those shows that I just let lapse, and if there's nothing else to watch, I watch it.
Believe it or not, the reason I did not watch Agents...
Nothing to watch? Family Guy.
No.
Yes.
No.
Everybody that I talk to, that's exactly what they do.
You need to talk to some different people.
Like, hey.
Here's
exactly.
Here's the deal with I forgot now. You let me. I
Sorry,
can't
my
stew like
idiocy screwed you up.
Yeah, that was bad. Anyway,
what's bad? He said I can't stew like that.
Crap. What was I going to say? Shoot.
Sorry.
What did you just bring up?
I brought up Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, okay. All right. I will not watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I know it's for a terrible reason because we talked about this. Comic books bring people back. It's just what they do, even if it's ridiculous. Mm. But he was dead in the movie. Don't care how you brought him back.
Yeah.
He was dead.
Ooh.
He was dead.
He was the reason why I started watching it, to be honest with you. I like his character. I like the actor. Agent Coulson.
Yeah.
In the Avengers... Was it the first Avengers?
It was.
In the first Avengers, they ended up killing him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Spoilers!
Right.
You know what? I totally get it. But it's basically, honestly, it's a horrible show.
There you have it. Not worth watching anyway.
There you go.
So, but like I said, it's...
So what's the other one? You said you had 2.
Yeah, it was a filter. The other one's the Inhumans.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's hating on it, but I actually kind of like it. And I've talked to other people who's actually watch it, and they kind of like it. I don't know what all the hate is about, but it's actually a pretty decent show.
Right. No, I mean, I can understand that because Heroes Season 1 was pretty good, and then it wasn't anymore. and there were a lot of people that were like, I just don't like the show. And I'm like, I thought, in the very beginning they were doing clever things, and then they stopped.
Yeah, I was kind of like that.
Yeah, bad. And everybody's like, it's because of the writer's strike. And I'm like, what? Did they leave their creativity at the picket line? What the fuck happened?
The writer's strike does ruin a lot of shows, though.
It did. It did.
Because I'm still missing Pushing Daisies.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, okay.
We should have a death show.
Like we should have a show. Like if you could bring any show back to life, what would it be?
What did he?
Well, you bring back Firefly.
He said he'd bring the stutter in a bit.
So a lot of people would say Firefly.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
that would be mine.
Firefly.
But I don't know now because they kind of kill Wash.
That's true. I don't know that you could because I liked the movie and I'm glad it ended the way it did.
How do you clean your harpoon?
know.
You run it through a wash.
Oh, that's
Goodness.
terrible. You're horrible. In the show.
That was just wrong. Yes.
In the
And
show.
with that,
I want to go and cry now.
that was wrong.
No.
You're a terrible person.
So I have to wait a minute. As a disclaimer, Wash was my favorite character. So
I'll vouch for that.
yes, absolutely, hands down, my favorite character. But because he didn't necessarily have to be a douchebag, like some of the others, which is okay because I expected them to be douchebags. But anyway,
There's always that one.
Jane, right? But you expected Jane
But
to be a
he
douchebag.
also played like
and-
the blonde airhead.
Well, it was more than that. It was the gun-toting stupid.
Yeah.
That's all he was.
That's
the
all
American.
he was.
Here's the muscle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I was
yeah,
about to say
yeah.
that he was the muscle,
muscle.
that took advantage of it, or didn't take
He was-
advantage, but
he
thought he
was-
was more than what he was.
He was an opportunistic goon, which is exactly what he was by design, and he
Yeah.
did it
Yes.
very well.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
I love to hate Jane. I love
Because that's what he was.
the actor even
Oh,
because
Adam
That was
he
just his
did
character.
such a fantastic
Yeah.
job of
Yes.
being Jane.
Jane, yeah.
Yes.
Honestly, I think that the weakest actor in the entire show was, in fact, Castle. I mean, the guy that played the main character. You never seen Castle, have you?
No.
Don't. But Silent Observer knows what I
He
mean.
did play Castle, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
But here's a fun fact: Nathan Fillion voices the Green Lantern sometimes in the DC series, the animated series.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Oh, we're like way over.
Yeah, we are.
Let's-
Okay, so on that note,
Sorry.
Spider-Man sucks. Batman's the best ever, and unless it's Lex Luthor, but I think Lex Luthor should just win the entire multiverse. Him and Magneto, and then they should get married because what the fuck? It's 2017. All right, so
Okay, that is just weird. Sorry.
until next week, I'm the Blurry Dude.
I'm Mongo.
I'm little dude.
You're little
You're
dude.
little dude?
Mini
You're mini
dude.
dude.
He forgot his name.
I'm the bean counter.
Peace.